There was once a time when Americans didn't really know much about or even care about the global supply chain. Then the pandemic hit, and people realized that the supply chain has a huge impact on not just what we can buy, but how much it will cost. Now, there is something called the Logistics Managers Index that takes a look at the global supply chain every month to analyze changes based on a series of different metrics. With potential tariffs in the works, the supply chain could be an indicator of how they're going to impact our pocketbook. Tell us more about how the global supply chain is doing. We welcome back Dale Rogers, a professor at ASU's W.P. Carey School of Business. And we're talking about the June edition of this index. And before we talk too much about what it's saying, what metrics do you use? How do you look at the global supply chain and figure that out?
So, the economic indicator most economists look at is GDP, gross domestic product. And that's kind of like accounting at the end of the month, into the quarter, into the year. It's a lagging indicator. It tells you what already happened. What we want to do is look ahead a few months, 2 or 3 months really is the sort of visibility we have. Because if you look at, we have 8 logistics components: inventory, related transportation, and warehousing. And if you can, because before something goes into GDP, it goes on a truck, it goes on a boat, it goes in a warehouse, it's part of somebody's inventories. So we can sort of see ahead of time what's going to happen in a couple of months.
And how do you get those numbers? How do you look into those warehouses and find that out?
It's sort of crowdsourcing. We talk to a lot of logistics managers in the United States, so director level and above. And honestly, it's been surprising to me, and I'm the one that started. I do it with 4 younger faculty from around the country, the main author being the younger Dr. Rogers, who's an ASU alum and grew up at my house, who's at Colorado State now. And it's been remarkably accurate. So the Federal Reserve uses it. And
how long have you been doing this index?
September of 2016 was our first one.
So when we went through the pandemic, did you see all the troubles coming? You could see?
Yeah. Now, the only time we didn't see the future was like March and April of 2020.
Because
we didn't know. But we've seen pretty much every change, both before and after that. So yes.
So what is the index telling you this year? The most recent numbers are June, but we've also got the previous 6 months before that. What is it telling us?
Yeah, it comes out the first Tuesday of every month, so we're not that far away from the July one coming out on August, whatever the first Tuesday is. I think the headline from May and June is that upstream in the supply chain, we're seeing people hold a bunch of inventory. So upstream means suppliers and suppliers and so on back. And then also we're seeing increased inventory costs. So I'm not surprised the fact that inflation ticked up a little bit. Truthfully, the stock market doesn't think the tariffs are a big deal. But we think they're going to start biting end of August, end of September. We're going to start seeing, as we move into the fall, those tariffs bite, because we can see that costs of inventory are increased dramatically during May and June. And that takes a while to sort of wind its way through the supply chain.
Are people changing inventory as a result of the uncertainty? Are they shrinking, increasing? What are they doing?
What's interesting is, so as many things in life, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And the large retailers and so on, the guys downstream in the supply chain, right before the consumer, are pushing a ton of inventory onto their suppliers. And the other thing they're doing in terms of increased costs, they may be eating a little bit of those tariff costs, the retailers and so on, but they're making their suppliers eat a bunch of it.
Really?
Yeah.
How have you seen the index, the numbers change from January to June? Has it been very steady?
There was real excitement about the coming of the Trump administration. There was nervousness about tariffs, but the thought was, okay, we're going to see a lot less regulation, And really, we had some great years under President Biden. We had tariffs under Trump, but they weren't too terrible. I mean, it did make things cost more. And one of the things you never want to do is put increased costs way upstream, like on steel and aluminum, and the new Mexico tariffs, which just were talked about last week. They go on in the beginning of August. That's going to create a much higher food bill for Arizonans because we get a lot of produce here from Mexico.
So these are the theoretical, philosophical, high-level stuff. Is there something people should do down on the street level when they hear these numbers? Should they save more, spend more, buy things early? What do you think that people, regular people should do?
I'll tell you who the consumers of our index are. They're the media, truthfully. There are a lot of the investment banks who are using it to determine what do they do, where should they make investments. It's the Federal Reserve that looks at it as one of the indicators on, they're supposed to manage both employment and 2% inflation. And it's pretty clear if you look at what we're seeing that inflation is going to increase as we move into the fall. So there's lots of people that are making decisions using it. I don't know that consumers are necessarily aware of it, but what they should know is that costs are likely to increase.
Inflation likely. All right. Dale Rogers, once again, we appreciate the fact that you are looking at the global supply chain, and thanks for being here with us today.
Nice to be with you.
Thank you.